and welcome to the first video of our summer previews. I should call it summer previews. And we're going to talk about some high school football, high school volleyball, high school boys soccer, which is also starting up in August as well, and also some summer stuff. So these are some summer previews I like to mention out. So normally the high school sports I follow is basically in Northern Illinois, so basically in the Northern Illinois region. So we talked about some other teams as well, basically around the Rockford region as well. So we're going to talk about our first team we're going to talk about, and that's going to be from the Big Northern Conference. That is the Byron Tigers. So Byron is also coming off a undefeated regular season where they finished 9-0 in the regular season as well. So normally in Byron, I know right now, so last year for Byron, I bet you going into the playoffs, you're expecting, a state championship, a deep playoff run, but for Byron, it wasn't what they were planned it out. So Byron last year got knocked out in the second round by Lombard Montini, 13-14, against a really good Montini Broncos squad that went on to go win the Class 3A state championship as well. So coming into the regular season in August, Byron is on a 23-0 winning streak in the regular season game. So week 1 through week 9, Byron is coming in unbeaten, 23-0 into the regular season. In regular season games, we're not counting the postseason. So this is their undefeated streak goes from week 2 of the 2022 season all the way to now. So the last regular season game they lost was in 2022 in week 1 against Stillman Valley in overtime as well. So that is a fun fact right now. So the last time Byron has lost a home game at Everstein Stadium, I believe it was in the spring football season during the COVID year, as I mentioned. I know if you want to count, so some people might count, the COVID season, but unless you're a guy that counts the regular season for high school football, so the last home game they have lost, in the regular season was the last one was on April 23rd, 2021 against Rockford Lutheran. I believe they were home that game. That was the last time they've lost at home. So if you're counting, that was during the spring football season in 2020, the last full regular season one, if you count the postseason as well. The last one they lost, if you count with the full one with the postseason, was the 2019 to Stillman Valley at home, 18-16. So for Byron, that is an impressive record that they've won at home since 2021, since coming out of the COVID season, out of the COVID season. So that is impressive. They have been winning regular season games since the 2021 season at home. So now we go back to the video. So Byron's schedule this year. So week 1, they'll kick off on the road like they did last year. It's going to be against the same team, against Rock Falls on the road. And then week 2 will be the big one, week 2. So this time they'll be playing Dixon at home, week 2. Last time they played Dixon was later in the season, week 8 last year, where they won by 1. That game was one of the best high school football games that I've been to. Was that game, week 2, where Kane Constantine, scored the game-winning 2-point conversion. That was one of the, for me, that was high school football at its finest. A really good game. Then same thing too with the second round matchup against Lombard Montini. When I saw that score, I wish I was at that game last year when they played them again in the second round. I bet you for anyone that went to watch that from Byron, said that was both games, that game and the Dixon game last year on the road, that was one of the best games that, I've been to. No matter what the scoreboard, says, if it's a close one as well. So alrighty, so next up is going to be, we're going to talk about, both the running backs and fullbacks, and that's going to be both Caden McGoo, who's coming in as a sophomore, and Caden Considine coming in as a senior. So for Considine, they'll probably be these two are going to be one of the top rushers in the Big Northern Conference coming into this year as well. And then you're going to have other backs like Dawson Criddle, Isaac Alvarez. Them four are going to be leading Byron in the trenches as well. So I bet you those names are going to be heard a lot as well for Byron returning. Andrew Talbert, he's probably going to be back at quarterback. Coming off, this will be his second year as a starter and third year on the varsity roster as well, coming in as a junior. Talbert did play as a freshman, normally as a backup for Aiden Schenk that year. So Talbert did play during mop-up time, normally for Byron when they were blowing out teams a lot that year as well. So I know Talbert did play quarterback a lot as a sophomore as well. So, and also at DB as well. And also, probably him and J.J. Epson will be leading, the secondary as well. I like to mention out. So first up, we're gonna talk about Caden McGoo and Caden Considine. So, Considine, in 2023 had a breakout year. This will be also his fourth season on the varsity roster. Well, Considine, he had a great season last year, but also, battled a bit of injuries, I believe, throughout the 2024 season. But hopefully, coming into the 2025, Considine, stays healthy and keeps playing the game like he does, and hopefully lead Byron in rushing and also in the Big Northern Conference as rushing. And next up, Caden McGoo. He had a big, outcome as a freshman coming in. He stepped up a bit when Considine, was hurt throughout the 2024 season. I bet you, if both McGoo and Considine are both healthy, them two are going to be leading the rushing in the Big Northern Conference as well. Them alongside Alvarez and Kittle as well. Criddle, I don't know why I say Kittle. Normally, also, those are two guys that you're going to hear. J.J. Empson, he's going to be leading, the secondary a lot, and also on special teams as well is going to be hopefully a man you don't want to punt to if you're a punter in the Big Northern Conference. I know last year he did have a kickoff return against Rock Falls Week 1 as well. So that is one of the players that, I'm excited for this team, Byron team. I'm pretty excited to watch him play this year and hopefully see how their season goes this year. And hopefully, they'll probably be one of my picks coming into the season to win a state championship in Class 3A as well. So Byron, week 1, so we'll go back to schedule. So week 1, they'll play Rock Falls on the road. Week 2 will be the big one against Dixon. Going to be a really fun matchup. Earlier in the regular season, most people like to wait later in the season when they battle for the conference. The last 2 years where both teams were undefeated and battled for the conference. So the first one in 2023 when they both played in week 8, Byron blew them out easily, and then last year Byron beat them by 1 at Dixon as well. And hopefully week 2, is going to be the same atmosphere, but a pretty good matchup for, a game early in the season as well. So week 3, week 4, they'll have Oregon and Winnebago. And then week 6, Duran Pecatonica, the Rivermen, who is also coming over to the Big Northern Conference. They're also going to get their first taste of being in the Big Northern when they play Byron. They played, I think, in 2019 in the second round, and then in 2023, not that long ago, in the quarterfinals when Dupec made their first run in the quarterfinals in their co-op history. And then they'll end off the regular season against Genoa Kingston and Rockford Lutheran. So my schedule prediction for the Tigers earlier this season, they're going to go, I have them going 9-0, but, you know, I can see them going 9-0, 8-1 as well. So those are my two predictions as well, going in, being early right now, even though it's May right now. So those are my two predictions. You know, Byron right now, I have them making a deep run into the playoffs going into 2025. I can see them making a deep run and hopefully, you know, making it to the state title game back there. But there can be teams that, you know, that could be disciplined, knowing that they can, you know, beat them. You know, when you have that target on your back as well, knowing that last year, you know, you thought it was your year, but, you know, we'll see what happens in 2025 throughout the summer, and hopefully we hear a lot of good stuff about Byron and or any team in the Big Northern Conference. So this is the first team I've done. So we'll see what happens next in my next video, what team I do next. So have a great night.